It's a no-brainer. You understand? Fair enough, we know a lot of media back home in Africa are getting paid to keep quiet. But there lies the problem. And then the solution. What is the solution? You point to a medium where you know you can put things up, get people to talk about it, and therefore create a level of change. Well, you have YouTube, you have Facebook, you have interactive social networking, you have all these avenues. But you know what? Systematically, they still want to try and shut you down. This is Naija Wars. Specifically, we're talking about Naija. This is Naija Wars because there is a war on corruption. Let's take it from the beginning. Nigeria got independent in 1960. Since 1960, you can imagine what has happened. I grew up in a Nigeria where growing up was fantastic. It was after the war, so I didn't really see Nigeria, all scattered and filled with a lot of madness and chaos. No, it was very, very subtle. I remember time from when I was 2 years old. I mean, I tell you, I remember my nursery school in Nigeria. I remember the majority of my primary school in Nigeria, and I remember my secondary school. I saw Nigeria deteriorate from grace going to grass. You see? So when I say we can fix Nigeria, I know a point where we know we can take Nigeria to because we've been there before. If I don't know that point, I would be talking out of maybe anxiety or out of fear or out of, wanting to do stuff from our own pocket. Like the chiefs do in Nigeria when they do things for their pocket because they've seen war and they want to amass of wealth and keep it just in case war comes again. But it's stupid, That's probably not going to happen. We're talking about civil war. It's probably not going to happen. So what can happen is people are just going to be poor, redundant, ignorant, and plain stupid while the whole world passes us by. Anyway, back to growing up in Nigeria. So we had identified a certain level of, a certain generation we call children of hope. Those are people that were probably born after the war, up to like 1980. So people born mostly in the 70s. We call them children of hope because from 1980, when so-called democracy was introduced to Nigeria, and then stealing started on a grand scale. Stealing started on a massive scale. I'm telling you, on a serious scale, that if you investigate further, you'll be amazed that some of these people are still alive. But what's frightening about that is because this guy, don't know if you've heard of this guy, he was tied to the stake and shot because he stole 10 naira or thereabout. So you get people who are getting killed for, 50 naira, 50,000 naira, 100,000 naira. And then you get ministers, commissioners who steal billions, but I give you chieftaincy titles. That's for another day anyway. Let's get back to what I was talking about before. We being the children of hope. Why we have identified ourselves as children of hope is because we have seen scenarios where Nigeria was excellent. Nigeria was fantastic. Nigeria was great. You really want to be in Nigeria, and at some point the currency was good to spend. I had uncles, cousins, all living in all parts of the world. I remember we used to send them money, unlike now where they send us money, or rather we send money home. Western Union is the one saving majority of the Nigerians, if we want to call a spade a spade. True. Now, in that regard, we've come up with a solution. Look, okay, we've identified a generation that, hey, this could be a generation of hope because they never saw Nigeria. They saw Nigeria going from grace to grass. Majority of my friends who grew up in that era, they know themselves. They can identify with me on so many levels. But the truth of one particular issue is we knew Nigeria was good at some point. We knew it was exciting. We knew it was a fantastic place to be. For crying out loud, when armed robbers come to your house those days in Nigeria, they come to steal your pot of soup or your video recorder. But now they come with grenades and bombs. They come with grenades, they bomb your house. Just because they want to steal probably $1,000. Desperation. But not just desperation, failed systems. These failed systems is collective. It's not just us failing or the government failing. It's a collective effort. We can agree or disagree. But the majority of Nigerians are failing Nigeria simply because we are ignorant about certain things and are just too lazy to explore. Where do we start? We can start from here. Look at this. Religion, and then politics. We have to understand that these two things are the same. Honestly. No, you have to just get it right. These two things, they are the same. Anyhow you look at it. The only difference is that, okay, maybe religion has a level of spirituality attached to it. But I can tell you, majority of the politicians out here in Nigeria are spiritual. So they understand this. But this doesn't understand this. When the two should actually understand each other. When I mean these two entities, I'm talking about us not identifying these two things and really bringing them as the same. When you see a politician, when you see a pastor, what do you see these days? What is the common factor between a politician and a pastor in Nigeria? Well, I'll let you tell me the answer. The average okay, let's rephrase it. If you see an honest politician and you see an honest pastor, what is the common factor between those two? They're both broke. That's the truth. An honest pastor and an honest politician are both skint. They are broke. But when you see a rich pastor, you see a rich politician, I'll rephrase it again. Or when you see a flamboyant pastor or a flamboyant politician, what is the common factor? They are both rich, I suppose. Now, think about it properly. Nigeria is made out of wealth. Nigerians flow through wealth. The rivers in Nigeria, everything about Nigeria is centered around wealth. There's no reason why these two entities to be different. There isn't. But we have to understand them. We have to recognize the difference. And then we have to act accordingly based on which one it is we want to be associated with and do it properly. If we want to go the spiritual route, the religious route, then we have to make these pastors and all these other people out there pay the right taxes. If we want to go the political route, then we have to make sure the leaders that we've decided to call our leaders, the people that we've decided to say we want this person to lead us, we have to make sure that this person is an intelligent individual.